If you haven't played Outer Wilds, please, go play it. Yes, I, the creator of this video, is telling you to not watch it so you can play it blind. It really is that good, and it's a game that you really can only play one time, and this video has major spoilers, so go play it first and thank me later. Now, if you haven't seen my last video, we managed to go to every single planet, station, Interloper and the Stranger in one loop. This wouldn't be too hard by itself, but you probably saw the big crossed out ship in the thumbnail. Yes, the challenge is to not use the ship. That means that we can only use the jetpack in the spacesuit to go anywhere, which is much weaker and turns even the simple task of leaving a planet's gravitational force into a small challenge. The suit also has limited fuel and oxygen, which means we have to stop for fuel often, and you can't just hold forwards for too long or you'll run out. One thing we can do for a small bit of extra propulsion is shooting the scout repeatedly, but other than that, that's it, that's all we can do to get everywhere. And now we are adding to this already tight run a visit to all the moons, the Interloper, the Hollows Lantern and the Quantum Moon. This required better execution, a new route and even more practice with orbital mechanics. So, without further ado, welcome to all planets, stations, plus Interloper, plus Stranger, and now plus the 3 moons in one loop, SHIPLESS. Again, pretty uncut and with live commentary from us, so let's go! So here we are back with now including all of the moons. Say hi to my brother.
Hey.
So yeah, this run is actually more impressive in my opinion. As you can see, there's the Quantum Moon there. Unfortunately, we couldn't take that chance because we have to look down here to open the hatch. So yeah, we can take that chance. But the idea now is, remember in the last run we had those 2 minutes where we slept before the sun station opened? Now everything is so tight we need to use that time to go to the Interloper, Interloper, or whatever it's called, and then the Quantum Moon in that time. So first, yeah, we go to the Interloper.
And yeah, notice that it is pretty much the same lineup as going to Ash Twin, except we do a little stop here at the Interloper, and we wait for the next orbit, because there's trying to go to Ember Twin or Ash Twin while they are behind the sun. It's really hard, so we have this 2-3 minutes to kill.
So that's when we're going to the Quantum Moon. It's a little bit of luck. We are opening the map and closing it to see if it spawns, because that counts as not looking at it. So the Quantum Moon might spawn.
Yeah,
here.
and this is the RNG. We cannot have it consistently, but after 1 minute, if we don't find it, then we just reset the run, because we won't have enough time to go there, go back, grab some fuel, and head towards the Hourglass Twins.
Yes.
Okay, so here we found one. It was pretty late in the run. But yeah, now our job is just to go over there, just step on the ground near Solanum.
Say hi to Solanum.
Yeah. And then go back to grab fuel, because while just hopping around already takes half of the fuel.
So yeah, as you saw, we were in orbit around the Timber Earth, so we could conserve fuel, because if we're actually using a lot of fuel to stay, to not fall down, it would take so much fuel, so we needed to orbit. So yeah, hi Solanum. Took some damage there, not ideal, but whatever.
Yeah, so now we just go back to the ship again, not to pilot it, but just to grab the rest of the fuel, because we're gonna need it to go over to the Ash Twin.
Yeah, and since we are doing the Quantum Moon at the start, it's the fact that it's RNG, it's not very punishing, because yeah, resetting a run at the start doesn't punish you a lot.
Yeah, it usually doesn't happen that much, but every once in a while a dead run happens, and there's nothing we can do about it, because the Quantum Moon is not deterministic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I just found some higher ground, so I can just actually get a head start when not using the geyser. because I need to leave at a very specific timing for this lineup to work, because we're really short on time and we have a minimal like 10-second window to get to Ash Twin before the cacti are revealed. So I just start accelerating, and that's basically it. I have already what types of buttons, how long I have to push them, and how much speed I have to gain, and what direction for this to work. Yeah, and now I should just be able to enjoy the ride.
With some adjustments.
With some final adjustments, because I really need to shave in some seconds to head there correctly.
We tried going to the quantum moon of Ash Twin so we could like spawn it while we were going there, but it was just impossible.
It was really a nightmare, because the two twins together make so the quantum moon has a really large orbit, and half of the times it's real close to the sun, and we can't really escape the gravity, or any slightly misadjustment makes us go either into the sun or out of orbit. It's really tricky to get it working. So using a lesser planet is ideal. So here I just try to get an easy landing. This part here is generally simple, except for the fact that there's a bug that doesn't allow us to use the in-between's atmosphere.
Let's actually pause so you can explain properly.
Yeah, so there's this thing where if you switch between the atmosphere of Ash Twin and in-between really fast, the propulsion system actually goes to 0% for no reason. We can actually put it...
So you can see, this, it just goes back to 0, so you'll just take fall damage.
You'll take fall
die.
damage because you cannot recover some altitude using that. So that's why I had to go slightly around to avoid that issue.
Yeah, it's those small adjustments that make it hard.
Yeah, but I still got here on time. But as you can see, it's very tight, because if I had just arrived 10 seconds later, I would be screwed, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, back here, you notice that this is the same setup as last time. The only difference being that we already visit the Arrow Rock and the Quantum Moon, and we're still back into business to doing the usual run if we want it. Of course, we also need to fit in here the Hollow's Lantern.
Which is the hardest part, was the hardest part to route, right?
Yeah, it was not that hard, but since I had all the other parts practiced down already from the other run, they were easy, and fitting in something new is always the challenging part, but yeah, you'll see how that goes.
So yeah, from now on, the route is very much changed, and you'll see why. So we go to the Sun Station as usual.
Yeah, but instead of going to Brittle Hollow the same usual way, we simply go back, because we now gotta go to the Stranger. And here's the tricky part. The Stranger on the previous run took so long because it started moving as we were approaching it, and then on the journey back we have to travel a lot, and that takes so much time. So the idea here is, instead of manually going to Brittle Hollow, we take the warp back, and we go to the Stranger from the Hourglass Twins.
And that slight detour would lose you time, but it actually compensates.
Yeah, because we go to the Stranger first, and that actually makes it so we save huge like...
Yeah, this is unoptimal, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. We have a window for accelerating towards it, and we have about like 10 seconds.
So we can roast the marshmallow.
Yeah, we can even roast a marshmallow if I want. Yeah, I did that. It's hard to see because I won't go to the map in detail, but I basically have to leave now away from the sun, and I just jump, and now it's just accelerating to upwards and let the sun's gravity do the rest, basically.
So basically we're following the sun's orbit, but we are rising above the plane of the solar system, right?
Yeah, you can see the stranger marker slowly approaching us as we do this.
Yeah. And it seems like you just decided, oh, okay, I'm done with the marshmallow, and so I'm gonna leave. But it was actually somewhat precise lineup.
Yeah, because if I missed that window, I would have to wait for a full rotation of the hourglass twins, which basically implies another 3 minutes of waiting, which is the exact same thing we are trying to avoid here.
Yeah. So
and we will go to the Interloper later, because the previous run we went to Brittle Hollow, just grab fuel and then head over to the Interloper. Now we're gonna do first the Stranger and then go to the Interloper. The second time it's near the White Hole Station. The White Hole Station is a very key part in this process because it allows easy teleportation back and forth.
So yeah, I think the lineup for the Stranger actually went well. There were obviously some minor adjustments, but it actually went well.
Yeah, I could have gone faster. Generally, I go over 200 meters, and I'm just barely over 1.5 meters. So now we do still the same lineup. So we go over to the third secret lab entrance and grab fuel in the same burning room.
Yeah.
But as you can see here, I'm already going aligning faster because we really need to. Every second we stay here are like 100 meters extra. We gotta travel to get back.
So yeah, it's funny how this time you didn't actually adjust the gamma because you're more used to the Stranger. Yeah,
already, especially when it's facing the sun and I'm on the first half. It's really easy.
Okay. So again, refueling here, almost fell, but yeah, you got it back, and it's worth it to just take it slow here instead of falling and having extra
falling
time.
is really bad.
And we actually don't use the other elevator. I don't know why I did that. It's actually faster to just ride this one up.
Yeah, and then jump across.
Has this slightly harder jump, but it's worth it to save some time.
So now it's just a matter of getting back before the Stranger is too far away.
So yeah, let's recap. We got Timber Earth, Ethel Rock, Quantum Moon, Ash Twin, Sun Station, Ember Twin, and then...
And now the Stranger. And now we're gonna go ahead and land on Brittle Hollow because it has the nice atmosphere to slow us down.
And remember last time we went and we did an orbit around the black hole and we just hoped that we didn't bump our skull into the ceiling. But now we are actually earlier in the loop, so there are less holes.
Yeah,
so the chance of you actually hitting your head is much higher. So we are going to do a slightly different strategy.
Yeah, so since we're much closer to Brittle Hollow, we're like 20 kilometers. On the previous run, we were like twice as much as that. So we were going way faster. Since we are now a little bit slower, we can afford to just barely miss the planet and use as much atmosphere to slow us down as possible. So the goal is to not exceed the 500 meters per second mark, because that makes it very hard to control. And so we're just gonna narrowly miss Brittle Hollow, and this has to be very precise.
It is very precise. Some runs died here.
Not as many as in other places. This just relies some careful adjustment, and
it feels very scary. But yeah, I don't know how that dealt very little damage, but that's
because we just barely missed it. So yeah, now we're gonna have to grab fuel. But since we want to take this opportunity to go to the Hollow's Lantern before actually the Interloper, I'm not sure if we're gonna open the map here. But the Interloper is not near the White Hole Station yet, so we have a little bit of time. And going to reback to fuel is a bit bad because then we gotta waste fuel going up to the surface again. So we're just gonna go over to the fuel case feldspar left.
Yeah, thank you, feldspar.
And now we just go over to where the Hollow's lantern is, which should be appearing over the horizon. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Brittle Hollow is now also stepped on. So what's left? It's Hollow's lantern,
The Interloper,
Whitehall Station,
Giant's Deep, and Dark Bramble.
Dark Bramble. So still quite a lot left, but we made it.
Yeah, Hollow's Lantern is actually a difficult lineup because it moves really fast, and it's really close to Brittle Hollow, but yeah, with some adjustments, and it actually rotates really fast.
Yeah, and it has lava, and it shoots pellets. But we made it. So this technically didn't count as a stepping.
Because we didn't really land on it, but here we have some nice place so I can actually step on.
And yeah, that counts. So now, what are we doing? We are going to the Whitehall Station, right?
Yeah, so now we should take advantage of Rebec to actually properly fuel up.
Yeah, before
and
going...
then just jump straight into the black hole to reach the Whitehall Station and the Interloper, which should be arriving there any second.
Mm-hmm. Okay...
No, I can do that.
Yeah, it's not that precise. Okay. Though you almost fell in the hole. Scary.
You can hear the music.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of lag.
Okay, and I can also roast a marshmallow just to be sure if I ever go too fast or distract myself, I don't kill the run just because I took more damage than I could take.
So now,
as you can see, the Whitehall Station is the perfect place to go, and then the Interloper, which is almost arriving at the max further away from the sun as possible.
I like this route because everything is so precise. Like it's the only way, but like you really gotta go here, and then the Interloper is.
This time I was so early in the run that the Interloper was on the other side of the white hole, which I was not used to. So I just do something different, which is go around the white hole.
So right now, the only things that are left, we did the Whitehall Station, everything that's left is the Interloper, Dark Bramble, and then Giant Sleep. So right now, as long as you don't mess up the Interloper, we should just be able to, we just need to land the run. The hard parts are over.
Yeah.
Just don't f*** up.
Doing the Giant Steep at the end is always a very cool and easy step because it probably doesn't give you fall damage and the gravity pulls you in, so very hard to miss.
Yeah. So nice.
The only real challenge would be the Dark Bramble. So here we just now gotta accelerate to the other side of the Interloper. Just because we have to counteract the velocity it has sideways, and Dark Bramble has velocity in the opposite sense. So there's this gap that we gotta bridge. I'm just now waiting a bit because I was early in the run. But as soon as I find that I can actually start accelerating towards Dark Bramble, we should be on our way.
Yes. So yeah, again, we gotta at this point we're used to it, but we gotta remember that Dark Bramble is huge, so we are going a lot faster than we think we are. So careful not to take fatal damage here.
Yeah, and we also you can see the difference between the Interloper and Dark Bramble is almost 200 meters per second. So this requires us to actually slow down a lot. We don't want to land there because it has a huge gravity as well. So we just want to land one of these platforms that allow us to quickly escape to Giant Steep. So I think I'm gonna go for this one. I just gotta slow down enough. And I am using the scouts as well to conserve fuel.
Easy does it. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, only when you land you realize how big the platform is. So now, just go to Giant Steep and the run is over. That's the only thing left.
So Giant Steep is on the other side, so I just gotta gain some velocity. I think I messed up here actually because I started accelerating up too soon, where I wanted to go to the front before I actually totally go out. And you can see that what happened. I accelerated to the front where Giant Steep is at the back. So now I gotta use the extra fuel to correct myself.
Yeah. Good thing Giant Steep has such a gravity.
Yeah, that's why we save fuel, so I can actually correct these mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you can see, we're already on our way to collide with Giant Steep. And again, I'll probably don't want to hit it straight on. I'll want it to hit slightly over to the side because I just want to make sure I don't land in one of the floating islands, because that would mean instant death.
Yeah.
And that's a very bad way to end the almost run. I mean, you technically touch the planet, but you are not alive.
So that doesn't count. Fatal impact does not count. Okay, so wait, you actually went straight on, so you just...
Yeah, I probably forgot. I was...
But if you want to do this run, that's what you should do. Not what we did. So yeah, Giant Steep. So yeah, the run is over basically. Funny thing, we actually had a lot of time at the end.
So we decided to pay Gabbro a visit.
Yeah.
But I also saw this tornado that was about to pull us into orbit, so I thought, why not? Let's just escape the supernova.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not the only islands to get pulled up.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So you can see here how hard it is to actually leave Giant Steep. You can see the acceleration inwards.
Mm-hmm. We are losing speed, even though if we are just thrusting, we would lose a lot of speed. We need to be sending the scout. Yeah.
If you don't send the scout, I don't think that it's really possible. Maybe it is, but I don't want to take that risk.
Mm-hmm. So now we're just
yeah. So now
almost out of fuel.
Yeah, but I already checked. We are good to go. We can escape the supernova at this speed, so we now just enjoy the sunset.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. It would be very hard to up this challenge.
I mean, there's literally no place we haven't gone to.
Yeah.
Except the Eye of the Universe, which
that would be insane.
I don't dare say it. Maybe we can fit it in here somehow.
But yeah, the thing you gotta remember that like going to the Eye of the Universe, it's like a full-on quest. You gotta get the...
It's the main game quest.
It's the main game quest. You gotta get the advanced warp core from Ash Twin. You gotta get the... Then you gotta go to Dark Bramble.
We know the coordinates. We just gotta go to Dark Bramble, really.
Yeah, and we have to finish the run instead of Giant Steep, Dark Bramble. So maybe it would require a full-on reroute. We'll let you know if that happens. If you see a video saying that, then we did it. But yeah, this is our all planets, moons, stations, stranger, and yeah, that's it. Shipless, and also escaping the supernova just because we had time.